Okay, we are live. Good afternoon, guys. My name is Lexus de la Cruz, and this is another episode of our session with our great mentors. So maganda po yung pag-uusapan natin today. It's all about transitioning to a new normal. So please join our conversation. You can send your comments, you can send your questions dun sa comment box below and participate in this conversation. And we will give you some additional resources. So enjoy, sit back, and relax while listening to our great mentors for this afternoon. So I'll be moderating this conversation, and with that, I'll introduce our mentor, our first mentor for this afternoon. He is one of the country's top-ranked public speaker and trainer for leadership programs and other soft skills. He's a seasoned management and marketing professional, advertising, fragrances, goods, publishing, telecommunications, BPO, and business solutions, both from multinationals to locally owned enterprises for more than 2 decades now. Please welcome Mr. Boris Joaquin.
Wow, ang bilis nun. Good. Thank you, Lexus. Good afternoon, everyone. This is thank you for doing this, Lexus. This is again another special day to learn, another special day to come together. But as you know, it's extra special because with me is an amazing consultant, executive coach, and mentor, and Lexus will be just introducing him in a while. But hi to everyone who's joining us right now. Thank you for, I can see some of you right here. Sir Obet, thank you for joining us. We have people all the way from La Union. You know, you could always post there where you're from, so we could always greet you. I can see Kata watching. Hi Kata and Felici. Thank you for watching today. And we're excited to actually have this conversation. And even though you're not part of the live stream in terms of video, you can still converse with us using the comment thread below. Just make sure that you comment underneath and ask your questions, agree, show us your love, and use that heart sign or yung care emoticons, and just express to us how much you appreciate this conversation, and what other comments, if you agree or disagree, we don't mind. Tell us what's in your thoughts. We're going to have a wonderful conversation about transitioning. And if you're interested in some of the reading materials that we'll be giving away, Juliet is part of the people who's interacting with you in the comment thread. And this is her cell phone number, and it's also in the crawler down below. If you want any of those reading materials, just text her. Just tell her that Juliet, Boris promised some reading materials in relation to coping up with change and crisis. So those behavioral white paper or reading resources will be helpful in your organization or your team. So again, thank you for taking time to be with us. I'm going to turn back to Lexus because we have a special mentor to join us in this afternoon's learning session.
All right, thank you, Sir Boris, for that. So we are streaming live at Boris Joaquin page and Salt and Light Ventures page. And without further ado, let me introduce to you our next mentor for this afternoon. He's the chairman and chief disturber of Business Works Incorporated, a certified John Maxwell trainer and trainer of trainers, president of Called to Rescue Philippines. He finished executive masters in business administration in INSEAD Business School in France and in Tsinghua University in Beijing. A completer of 6 world marathon in Tokyo, Berlin, London, Germany, Chicago, and New York. We are very honored to have him. Let's be inspired by Mr. Anthony Pangilinan.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Hi, Alexis. Hi, Boris. Thank you for allowing me to engage with you today. You know, we're talking about transition. You know what I did, guys? I looked at my seminar on change last week. I've been looking at this for the past weeks kasi lahat ng tinuro ko last year, nothing's working. So, I think we're all in the same situation. So thank you for this opportunity to learn.
Yeah. Why did you say that? I was really hoping you. Just
No, no,
no, but
nothing is working as I had envisioned it to be.
exactly.
Diba?
Yeah.
I don't know who said that. We don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we wish it would be.
Oh yes.
So, reality check. This is a reality check for me.
It's something that came to life all of a sudden. We've been talking about disruption. We've been talking about VUCA, the VUCA environment.
Matagal na yun, di ba? Matagal na natin
Tagal na
pinag-usapan.
yun. All of a sudden, none of those may not really be accurate at this point. I agree. I mean, I'm just teasing you, but I agree. Looking back at some of my notes from previous conferences and what other people predicted, of course, they were limited to competitive and digital disruption. Parang what's happening right now is far from that. It's really, um, how do you see how do you see the problem right now, Anthony? How different it is? I like to mine your insight, Kainan. And none of the things that we're talking about in changes or change management is accurate at this point. What are
Because
your thoughts?
there was always this perspective na, you know, the context will always be different, di ba? So yung mga crisis management models, it was always applicable to a certain context. So therefore, you could step out of the context, see the problem, and then come up with a solution. The problem is there is no more context because no one is separate from. You cannot you cannot extract yourself from the situation. So suddenly, you are both trying to run a business, but you're redesigning at the same time, right?
Yeah.
You are avoiding people because of social distancing, but you can't avoid engaging because you have collectibles and you have payables that you have to fulfill. So it's everything happening at the same time, and it's just beyond the conscious capability of the human being. It really requires the entire being, the conscious, the subconscious, the left, right brain, right? So the introvert in you is to come forward because you have to reflect, but the extrovert in you has to also engage, because if you don't, then nobody will mind you and see you. So it's the intensity. Sabi ni
Yeah.
John Maxwell, yung mentor natin, di ba? I like what he said. The problem is not the problem. Yeah? The problem is not our problem. The problem is the way we look at the problem. So that is right. It's the way we see things. It's our perspective. So the problem is at different levels, at different areas of life, local and global. That's why we are in the middle of still diagnosing the situation.
I agree. No, it's paradoxical. I mean, we know that we need to prioritize people at this point, but we need to keep our distance from people. We know that people need to be engaged, but we have a virtual environment, and we know whether we admit it or not. And sad to say, there's nothing compares to face still. But this is where we're in a way trapped. This is where we are right now. And like what you said, we need to run the business, but at the same time, we need to re-engineer the business. We need to be reflective, but then recalibrate at the same time. I agree with what you quoted from John Maxwell. I think Charles Kepling also said something like, a problem well defined is a problem half solved. So what is the problem right now as we transition into the new normal?
I don't think our limited individual competencies are enough to solve our specific challenges. That's, I think, one of the biggest problems. I cannot solve my own problem. It requires a new level of collaboration. I suddenly, within 24 hours, I have to talk to my business partners. I have to talk to my clients. I have to talk to my children's teachers. Suddenly, I have to talk to the doctors. Suddenly, I have to ask my neighbors. Meaning, it's beyond me. Dati kasi, meron tayong mga formula of how to solve our respective challenges at home or the workplace. Right now, it requires a community effort, and it requires wisdom from others, right? On an
Yeah,
hour
yeah.
by hour basis. And ho- I don't know how in the last few weeks, oh my gosh, lahat ng nangyari dito sa bahay ko involved business, education, local government, it involved health, it involved finances, it involved psychological, emotional counseling, nagdagsaan. Di ba?
Oo, totoo. I
So,
feel you. Totoo yan.
yeah. So I believe that the problem is many of us are still trying to figure it out on our own. And I think that is not going to work. That is not. So on one hand, bro, I feel you. So pwede bang abutan kita ng ano ha?
Pwede.
Yan, di ba? O yan, sa'yo na yan. Sa'yo na
Pwede
yan.
lang.
Pwede lang, magtulungan tayo. But
Pwede
you know what?
lang.
I'm sorry I have to wear another hat. May utang ka pa sa akin at kailangan ko na yung bayad mo sa akin di ba? On one hand, there is a call for giving, but on the other hand, people are grappling and holding on for dear life, whatever is left, as you said, of savings. So all these multiple roles will require more than just an individual company or a family or a person. I think the problem is not many have yet accepted the fact that it is going to be solved by a community as one.
It's a new level of collaboration.
Yes.
I hear you. We're setting boundaries, but at the same time, pagdating sa bahay, work from home situation and all that, business, family, education, there's no boundaries. I mean, right now, my office is my home, my work is my family, and it's a new level. It's a redefinition of how we're doing things. And I like what you're saying na parang polarity siya. Now, how do we make them come together is probably something that we'll all figure out in the next few days.
Maganda yung sinabi ni Jim Collins. Sabi niya, and this one was not just in a book I read or a seminar that I attended that he conducted. This was a one-on-one engagement I had with him when we attended a couples program. Kami ni Maricel under Jim. No? And what he said was, the problems that are emerging will require really a community undertaking. Sabi niya, it's not what. Diba? You know this. The first who then what principle. For the longest time, lahat tayong mga intellectuals and consultants, what diba? Tinatakbuhan tayo, ano dapat kong gawin? Ano dapat kong gawin? But sabi ni Jim, alam mo, tapos na yung mga araw na yun kasi nobody knows. So it's not what you have to do that you have to worry about. It's who you have to talk to. So it's not what, but who. So in one day, I talked to so many people because they're the ones who know in their area of expertise in medicine what is the answer. Siyang nakakaalam kasi siya yung police on the ground. Siya ang may latest research kasi nagtanong siya tungkol sa online learning. Siya ang nakakalap sa technology. So we have to shift from this desire of wanting to identify first thing in the morning what we're gonna do and then execute. Wala na yon. Meron ka mga alam na dapat gawin pero kailangan buksan mo yung sarili mo na sino yung dapat nating kausapin. In fact, before I started this, bro, I had to stand up, go around the house and ask my son to postpone his streaming for 1 hour. And mind you, medyo top level na yung amin bandwidth dito sa bahay. Diba? Top level na kami rito pero never kong ginawa yun na nakikiusap ako sa anak ko kung pwedeng give me 45 more minutes and then sa'yo na yung bandwidth. No?
Yeah, I hear you. I only have 2 kids. Mataas yung bandwidth. I asked them, mas marami ka dyan. So I could just imagine.
Wait, I want to know about you, bro. Boris, sa'yo, anong tingin mong problema?
I actually agree with you. I was thinking about the fact that you're throwing everything outside of the window. But I agree because even the things that we know about change management, about strategic planning, because like one of the things that I've been doing is post-pandemic strategic planning. It's a guided strategic planning on how you recover and how you go back. Pero may litmus test ka di ba? Now you try it to the travel and tours industry or the tourism industry. Bigla mo realize some of the principles that seems to be working, let's say in education or in learning and development. The last parang for the last people to recover, medyo ang hirap. Parang I was talking to my client who owns a hotel, not so much the big multinational hotel, but a locally owned hotel. Hirap sila to come up with innovative ideas, cutting edge ideas. The litmus test is really what if you try it on industries that are really, really affected at this point. And for individuals who have difficulty going up, may mga gaganda tayong frameworks and principles, right? On
Right.
how to recover from change and how to do this. What's the framework from Franklin Covey? What's the framework from this and that? Pero pag tinest mo na, ultimate, hindi kumakasa. Kulang right? Kulang. You're familiar with this, no? Parang I just drew this quite quickly. Yung parang change brings us to
Yes.
parang that the pit. So I was wondering tuloy, parang what kind of transition is going to happen right there in the middle. I guess that's my perspective. And I like it when you said, Boris, pag-usapan natin transitions.
Yeah.
Because change is happening on the outside, right? But transitions is what's happening on the inside, whether organizational or individual. We're all going through transitions, and maybe I was thinking, maybe that's where we can help those levels.
Yes. Ang problema kasi sa leaders or parents or even teachers, or mentors, ako minsan, ang problema, and statistic studies will show this, we are so into the beginning and the end.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
We define the beginning, diagnosis tayo, SWOT, diba? Whatever. We quote, that the establishing reality is the first responsibility of leadership, Max De Pree, mga ganyan, diba? Force field analysis, saan ba tayo ngayon? Having assessed that, when we now define the future, diba? Where we wanna go. And when you start change, yung mga bago mong i-introduce, kaunti yan, and then hopefully over the period, palaki ng palaki yung pagbabago. Yung mga dati naman na gawin na dapat mo nang palitan, malaki yan sa simula, di ba? Kasi yan. And then sana palit ng palit yan over a certain period. The problem is we're only looking at what has to start and what has to end. The process, the transition is the most neglected part of change. Let me just read from here, from my own notes. Change events, experiences, change situations, transition, psychological impact. See? Nakikita mo, hindi pinapansin ng mga leader yon. Change is result orientation. Transition, process orientation. Change, relatively fast. Ito na desisyon. Yan na ang ating policy. In-announce na ng presidente o ng IATF. Oh my God. Transition is not relatively fast. The decision was made, but the implementation, execution is relatively slow. So the transition is where I think we should put more emphasis in as leaders, as parents, and even as a government. Yun ang problema eh. Hindi natin nagdi-decision tayo, tapos sinasabi natin, gawan mo ng paraan. Di ba? Execute. Pero during execution, naiintindihan ba ng tao? Yung announcement, alas 12 ng gabi, di ba? Tulog na lahat. Tapos, paano execution? Bukas ng maga may magpe-press con. Okay.
Binibigla tayo binibigla.
Oh my God. Did you find out that yung CNN report na 470 OFWs tested positive for coronavirus? And that's just the first wave of tests of those who arrived, 20,000 plus. Wala pa yung 11,000 na results na nihintay. Tapos may darating pang 40,000 in the next month.
Tapos nakawala pa yung iba, umuwi na yung iba eh.
Okay, so before I forget, no, Boris, it's I think we have to accept the fact that in our situation, in our country, ewan ko kung nag-aaral ka naman ng Noli Me Tangere, di ba?
Yeah.
Filibustery.
Third year high school. Fourth year high school.
Okay. Teacher namin parati may tinatanong, anong problema? Sistema o tao? Ganon, di ba? Oh my God, that was a major debate, you know? Now, I think we have to accept the fact that our system really is not in place, you know, and it's a given. You know, we're not as organized as where my daughter is, Australia, where they're flattening the curve and they already have plans for 2021, 2000. Right? We're not like New Zealand, you know. We're not like Sweden. It's or Singapore. So I think kailangan natin tanggapin 'yon. Na kapag may in-announce na policy, you know, hindi pa sigurado 'yan kasi nawawala during execution. So can I just say this one last point? Sorry, I'm saying a lot of stuff here.
Go ahead.
Okay. And while I demand from government or my leaders that before they ask me to go out, dapat wala nang kalaban at na-clear na yung minefield ng mga, you know, na-clear na ng mga landmines yan. You know what? I should not expect it. I think that's a very important mindset. I should anticipate. I still should have my guard up.
Of course.
Diba? So I think that's a really helpful perspective sa problema. Okay, so in-announce nila to, ginagawa nila ito, pero problema, yung local government sa national government may issue, so siguro a-align sa execution. Ang tatamaan yan ako, okay, at ang pamilya ko. So even if the policies are there, I should still have my guard up and I should still make sure I protect my own. So I think that really helps. I mean, tanggapin na natin. You know, you can accept the situation and say surrender. You can ignore it and avoid it, or you can align and ride the wave. Right? I mean,
I agree. I think we should always, to begin with, we should have a leeway to what's happening. When we were rethinking and re-strategizing our direction for 2020. Ano na kami, parang hindi naman sa tiklop. We're actually thinking in the 2020 more or less. I think there is no physical classroom na whatsoever, and we have to look at 2021. How do we build ourselves for 2021? How do we see the value of live? There's a perspective that we said na I think yung live engagement face to face, tataas pa rin yung value niyan kasi ang daming virtual. There's another perspective that how do you sift through or how do you filter yourself or distinguish yourself from the rest? Rappler was asking me to write an article, would you believe, too much learning? Kasi nga, there's just too many webinars out there. So we were thinking, I agree with what your thoughts are. Kasi parang, kailangan meron tayong palugit, meron tayong extension ng konti. When they say general community quarantine, that's not necessarily where we are right now. So I think one of the things that I've been telling my team and I've been telling my clients as well is, and you can add to this if you like or agree or disagree with me. I was actually telling people at this point, baka we really need to weigh things also from our own parang personal and commercial perspective or whatever we have. Basically parang prioritizing and I guess that's really ano yung mas importante in strategic development or strategic planning. Meron kaming prinsipyo na parang impact versus visibility. Parang what would really be of value to your organization 1 year from now, and parang even if it's of value to you, pag hindi siya ganun ka-feasible or realistic, maybe wag mo muna siyang maybe it requires more research. So I was thinking maybe that kind of thinking or mentality can be applied at this point, valuing things that are more valuable to you right now.
Definitely, yung essentials. And then even from a biblical perspective, right? Everything's being shaken until only that which cannot be shaken shall remain. So this is the mindset, the perspective that this is a purification process, I think is helpful. Maganda rin yung sinabi ni Jack Ma na kung buhay ka after 2020, magpasalamat ka na. You know, if that's an amazing perspective from the richest Chinese businessman, that manage your goals, your ambitions. Huwag ka masyadong greedy, di ba? If your perspective is just to protect my own, my family, my community, and to provide as much as I can with what I have, the little that I have, then I should be thankful that I'm able to do that for 2020. I think that's a very good perspective. Now, I added something to that though, apart from just self-preservation and providing for others. And I think you will agree with me here. Our transformation, I think, is that if we have a perspective that, okay, since I will not accomplish the results that I had hoped to at the beginning of the year, at least let me go through the transformation. You know, right? We can prioritize the transformation now. So am I a better father? Am I a kinder employer? Right? Am I a better listener? Am I a more prayerful person? I think most of us are already at this stage. So, dadagdag ako yung sinabi ni Jack Ma. Sabi niya, kung mabuhay ka, magpasalamat ka. Dagdagan natin yung kung mabuhay ka at ang kumpanya mo buhay pa at kung mabago ka. Di ba? Kung mabago ka. If we are transformed in the process, then we should be thankful. We should be thankful.
Okay. Yeah. We should be grateful, no? We should be grateful because gusto ko yung sinabi mo yung kapag buhay ka pa, at nandiyan pa ang negosyo mo, yun talaga, magkasunod talaga yun eh. Essentials na eh. Survival mode muna tayo eh. And then hopefully you thrive in the process. And then I like what you said, maximizing this opportunity to change, to be transformed. What kind of tips can you give on that, Anthony? Whether personal or business-wise?
Two things. Your core. Let's go back to your core. Kasi when it comes to what are you going to prioritize, if we're going to talk about that, first of all, sino ka ba? Itong talagang, it's good that we're going back to the essential you. Kasi lahat ng mga hindi ikaw natatanggal na ngayon eh, di ba? So you go back to your core. And then, core principles, core skills, core talents, right? Rediscover perhaps the core that you never knew. And then maximize that, develop that, invest in that. And then yung alam mo ng kahinaan mo, yung alam mo ng ikinalungkot ng mga empleyado mo dati pa o ng asawa mo, what has been grieving your customers for the longest time, those pain points that you have not addressed because you're too busy. O di ba? E di address na natin yon. So I think our transformation will be maximizing, our strengths and our core, but at the same time, dealing with those long-standing issues that have been brought up again and again, that have kept us from truly transforming into the likeness of God as we were intended to be.
Yung purification, yung sinasabing purification, this is the time that you really go through and cleanse what's happening in your life. Take an inventory on what's happening.
People completely drop what they've been doing the first half of their lives, and now they're re-entering the second half of their lives, and wow. May mga employer na nag-a-apply ngayon sa kumpanya ng mga empleyado nila. May mga We're seeing market challengers, Davids, right, slaying Goliaths, market leaders. We're seeing the biggest of institutions, down on their knees. It's really it's transforming everybody. But if you go back to your core best self, trials bring out your core best self. I think that's a gift.
Anthony, ano yung mga pain points mo? And napag-isip mo ako eh. I need to identify it right now. I'm grateful for that statement, and I'm grateful for you allowing me to actually parang look at that. But I just want to hear, what were your reflections on things that needs to change, whether personal or business or interrelational?
One is scale. One is scaling. Matagal na akong sinasabihan
Mm,
na Anthony, if you could just multiply yourself, mga ganyan, di ba? Yon.
mm,
Sa yon, pain yon eh. Kasi sayang eh. I was limited. I am so blessed by the ministry of Ravi Zacharias. God bless his
yes,
soul and his family.
amen.
I visited his headquarters, and
Mm,
his new headquarters. And for example, in both Ravi and John Maxwell, in the last 2-3 years, we have seen explosive growth. Why?
mm,
Because they multiply themselves. So
mm.
scaling, and amazingly online,
Allows that, oh, di
online
ba?
opportunity is here to scale ourselves. Isa yon. Another pain point would be um, my team with me on the levels of leadership. I noticed I able to do that for many apprentices.
Sorry, Anthony, I'm gonna ask you to repeat that. Medyo we lost you there for a while.
So I think one of my pain points is bringing my team up the ladder, you
Mhm.
know, into their transformation as leaders.
Okay.
Kasi we were so busy executing that we didn't have enough time discipling and mentoring my leaders,
Right.
my team. I was doing it for a lot of clients. I was doing it for a lot of apprentices. But
Mm.
now I believe that this is something that I am already addressing now. Kasi come June 1, bago na yung mga packages namin eh. I mean,
Okay.
God bless the souls of my staff. We all took half salaries for 2 months, but I did commit
Wow.
to them. I did commit to them that by the end of this month, each one will receive a new package where they can potentially earn much more, but it's going to be a combination of a base pay and a higher level of compensation when it comes to commission and results. So we're
Right.
discussing that right now. Yun, kung hindi nangyari to, bro, hindi ko mabibigyan ng ganung klaseng kabilis na attention ito eh.
Uh-huh. So in a way, parang na fast track, di ba? Parang it accelerated to some of the things. So it's not necessarily.
Ikaw din, ilan na ba yung ginawa mong webinar? Parang lahat na lang ng tinitingnan kong email galing sa'yo. Lahat na lang ng mga announcement galing sa Salt and Light. Sabi ko, oh my God.
Kailangan, bro eh. Baka makalimutan ka eh. let me let me share to you this. The reason why we did that, it was a defining moment. I must admit, when the lockdown was announced, literally, naglook mo ako. I was really depressed. I felt like canceling 15 events, learning events, was really a bad business situation. And I know for a fact that this is not going to last lang for 15 or 1 month. May projection ka ng ganon. January pa lang, alam na natin kung ano pwede mangyari, and it's hitting us really hard. And from being anxious, I became ambivalent. I was, ano ba yung psychological term na yun? You were numbing yourself. I was numbing my mind. I was trying to forget. I was trying to forget everything that's happening. Binge watching became a good recourse for that. But then when I was reflecting and I was crying out, "Hey God," I think God reminded me. Well, for one, Isaiah 26 verse 3 was a strong verse. He was giving me perfect peace. If only I would have a steadfast mind and a trusting heart. So I really repented from that. And one thing that God parang insisted in my mind and in my heart is that inaano ba kita? Parang this crisis is really meant to happen, but your purpose remains the same. What is your purpose? Like what you're saying, yung core. And it just dawned to me, my purpose is to teach. I'm an educator. Both my parents are teachers. I was actually called to do this. I'm called to mentor, and it's not necessarily, I'm not a perfect mentor, discipler. I'm not the best speaker that there is, but I'm an educator. I want to design, develop, and deliver learning materials. And when I gathered my team, we were not ready. Like what you said, I was doubtful that my materials would be relevant. We are not technologically ready. So parang, pero sabi ko lang team, we need to we need to recalibrate. How can we do this? Hindi kayo marunong mag-Zoom. What's available to us? May isang staff nagsabi, Sir, Facebook Live. Sabi ko, okay, walang kita doon, pero sige. We can still educate Facebook Live. And that's how I think we bounced back almost immediately. And I was learning from the churches, bro. The moment the president announced na walang public gathering, the first Sunday, everybody pivoted to online worship. Ang bilis. Everybody was like, but yung nga kasi pag solid yung purpose mo, if you know that you're called to do that, medyo mabilis yung ano. But then of course, the process is different. The execution, the details, the platforms that we need to use, it requires a lot of diligence. It requires a lot of research and understanding. And we're going through that pain point right now. But maybe just to comment on what you said, and I think that's really kudos to my team right now. Sila Lexus, sila Kervin, sila Juliet, you're listening. And even now, despite of the situation and the forced leaves that they're with right now, Juliet is on the comment thread.
I know, I saw her. I saw her. So, during her break, she's going back to her core best self, sabi ni Juliet.
Nag-note ang Ale.
Katata will sing towards the end kasi that's her rediscovered passion. So meron daw siyang ino-offer na isang song before we close our time together.
That would be a wonderful closing, Kata. Pangako yan, you're going to pakibigay ang link kay Kata so she can join us.
So yung meron akong tip, no? Kasi marami nagsasabi nga na may second wave pa yan, may third wave pa yan. Okay? Alam mo, wag lang natin iwanan sa virus ang second wave at ang third wave. Kung may second wave ang virus, dapat may second wave din ang recalibration natin. May second wave din ang response natin. So the first response was the last month and a half, right? The last 2 months. Now, you can see certain patterns emerging, certain things that will stay for the next 6 months or 1 year. Recalibrate again your response. And you already know this, perhaps most of you, this has been discussed thoroughly, well, in many forums already, yung pagkakaiba ng reaction sa response, di ba? I just want to stress this, and I have to because I have to share everything I know, the little that I know that's worked for me. So pag may stimulus, and this is a huge stimuli, pagsama na lahat. Pag hindi ka masyado pumaproseso, magre-react ka lang, di ba? At kadalasan, pag sinabi ng doktor, nako, ang katawan mo nag-react dun sa gamot natin, negative. Pero pag may stimulus, marami stimuli yan, at prinoseso natin, pinagdasal natin, nag-usap tayo, kinausap natin yung mga nakakaalam, we humble ourselves. By processing that and reflecting on that, we will not just react, we will respond. The doctor, your company, whatever it is, it's responding, that means it's good. Now, that is the potential of every human being. Now, can you imagine kung hindi ka lang tao, anak ka pa ng Diyos? Then you're not just to survive, right? I will be with you in trouble. You will soar like eagles. So let's go beyond surviving, which we are all capable of as human beings. Let's look at how we can thrive at this time. But we have to be open to the definition of thrive because minsan nga hindi resulta eh. Minsan nasa pagbabago natin. Di ba? Nasa pagbabago mo, Boris, at pagbabago ko. Di ba?
Very true. Very true. Bago na tayo.
Yep.
So, ano yung tips mo for thriving? Akala ko sabihin, what do we need to have in order to thrive?
Maybe I can ask you to answer that question first, because I'm interested. I know you have some ideas. Balik ko nga sa'yo. Ano ba, pareho tayong guest dito Hindi naman ikaw nag-interview sa akin eh. Di ba? Alam ko, pareho tayong mentor dito.
Ay, hindi. Mentor kita eh. I look up to you so I need to glean for your wisdom. Di ba?
Ako, daily, bro. I have never spent more time with the Lord than I did the last 2 months. I mean, my wife knows that, So at least an hour each day to get wisdom. 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 Word.
Okay.
Intuition. God gave us also, the gift of intuition. S, significant others, especially your spouse or your partners or your co-mentors like you. WISD, divine intervention. Kung dito sa Cavite, umakyat ng 40, ang may COVID in 1 day or 2 days, medyo hello, makinig ka na, no? Di ba? Di ba? O, very important, opposition. Because you should listen also to the other voices, because they can give you wisdom. Kaya nga may librong, di ba, screw tape letters, di ba? Because
Mm.
you gotta know, if you know thy enemy, di ba, sabi ni Sun Tzu, if you know thyself and thine enemy, you need not fear 1,000 battles. So opposition, you have to get to understand the opposition, how it works. Kaya yung mga conspiracy theories, pinag-aaralan din natin yan kasi meron rin katotohanan dyan eh, di ba? And then finally, mentors. So
Mm.
I have been in touch with my mentors, like I have to for dear life. So I believe that wisdom is the key to responding so that we will be thriving. First, who talaga eh? Who? And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
they will tell you what. What has worked for you? For example, tell me, can you share
Well,
one thing?
thank you. I love the wisdom. Literally, I love the wisdom. I like the who also you were saying. I think at this point, nga, we need to really know who we are and
Yeah.
who we belong to. I think that's one thing. God has been patient with us as a humanity, and this particular crisis is really forcing us to spend time with Him, to listen to Him, to hear His voice, and not just reflect, but eventually nga parang change our ways. I have never been confronted with a lot of issues in my own family. To talk to my wife tomorrow, we're celebrating our 20th anniversary, and
Oh
it's
wow!
probably
Congratulations.
thank you. And
Happy
it's
anniversary.
probably
You have never experienced more issues, parang ganon.
exactly, di ba kasi
Wow.
parang, and I dread the conversations because dati kasi busy ka eh. So you only spend, even if you say you slot a time for you and your wife and kahit significant pa yan, 1 hour, 2 hours. Pero ngayon with the quarantine, you have 18 hours at a minimum, 20 hours maximum spending together, di ba? And you will have so many conversations and
Kaya pala
you
sabi
will
ng
have,
sorry.
go
Kaya
ahead,
pala
go ahead.
sabi ng ko, nakakatanggap siya ng mga text sa asawa mo, parang humingi ng tulong.
Nag-SOS, kailangan ng kapwa ng fellow mentors. Exactly, ganun talaga. And even with my kids, parang it's actually building back our foundation. It's solidifying our foundations, Anthony. I think that's the main thing that's happening right now because without being rooted, you cannot thrive, right? You will have very weak foundations. I'm just gonna give three quick tips, just to
Sure, please.
wrap that together, and to be more simplified. Yours is really grand and wonderful. But I think I'm gonna give three P's, I guess. One is purposeful, and we always said that we want to go to the core. We need to go back to who we are and who we belong to. What's God's calling for our lives, and what's really important, what's valuable, weigh it out, and then prioritize what's valuable. And I guess that's where prioritizing comes into play. So after being purposeful, you need to prioritize. And when you prioritize on from an individual perspective and even from a business perspective, you get to identify what do you really need to work on. And I know you've been saying that a while ago, yung pain points, what are your areas for improvement. And when you get to fix that and when you get to address that, then hopefully you can thrive. And then the last one, I like the word proactive. For some reason, yun nga, maybe thank you for commending the team's effort to still be relevant, to be communicating, to be doing these things, this online live stream and all. And that's proactivity. Anybody can be productive, but I felt like we also can learn from young entrepreneurs nowadays, lean startups that are they're persevering or they're pivoting, because right now we're pivoting online, and we're not used to that. We're not used to a lot of things. For some people like you, you're very fortunate. You sanay ka sa video, sanay ka sa ganyan. Not many people are good in doing that. So being proactive is just trying out things, and making sure that you pivot immediately if it's wrong, and that's what recalibration comes. So parang yun yung parang basic 3 points that I could probably share. I haven't really arrived. I'm still trying to see how that will work out from a personal level. I'm an extrovert individual. So this quarantine period is literally killing me. So I need to be in touch with my mentors and accountabilities as well. So I'm trying to practice nga being purposeful, being prioritizing, really sifting through what I have and what God has given me, and become a good steward of that, and really be proactive. And my basics really Isaiah 26 verse 3. Sabi niya kasi, you will receive perfect peace. Those of you who are steadfast in mind, proactivity and prioritizing, I guess. And then with a trusting heart, trusting in you. So sobrang ang lakas ng impact ng verse na yun sa akin. The moment it was shared to me, the moment we reflected on that, and it's helping me carry on in this last, ilang days na ba? 60, 70 days so far. So hopefully towards the road of thriving.
One of your strengths nga is your ability to put people out there who can make a difference. For example, one of the revelation, well, maybe I should I use the word revelation? I need perhaps some confirmation that I'm getting is we have content. I have content. I'm not going to be another Boris Joaquin, who is amazing in putting a lot of content that is of great value for people to be transformed, over time. You've done that, and you've done that really well. There's a lot of temptation, to start doing that. Get a platform, get more speakers. But my revelation is what's my core best self, right? I can go out there and help leaders influence other leaders. So dun ako nakatutok diba? I told my team, platform development, let's come up with a great platform, but we don't have to have the best platform, diba? Let's keep on working on our content. Let's keep on working, and then let's work with people who have the best platform. Like you have an amazing platform. So bumabalik tayo dun sa ating kakayahan. Napaka-importante nun. I remember sitting down with my team also, like you, 2 months ago, when we started, and we came up with 4 P's in terms of priorities, 4 P's, pantawid lang naman, 4P. Diba? Pantawid program. Number 1 is to protect our company and our family, so that was the first. Number 2 was to provide in our areas of strength. You cannot provide all the needs. Kung saan ka lang may kakayahan, diyan ka tumulong. If it's in encouragement, if it's in counseling, right? If it's in food distribution. The third was to prepare. So just like you, we have been sitting down, rediscussing over and over again, what's the next step? And we prepared 2 ways. And I want to suggest this to those who are listening. You prepare for the worst, right? And for a best case scenario. I have to stress this, guys. We are still in the middle of a firestorm. Nasa gitna pa po tayo ng sunog. The air is not clearing. Is that a problem? No, it's just a reality, right? So, nasa gitna pa tayo. And pag nasa gitna ka pa ng sunog, huwag ka muna magpaplano. Di ba? Huwag ka muna, in fact, some of us here, and I do too, you just have to ask for more time. Don't force yourself to come up with a plan of action if you still do not have the wisdom, if you still do not have the confidence. Kung sa ngayon, kumapit ka muna sa Panginoon, di ba? At sa mga kaibigan. Kung kailangan ganun muna. Right? Nobody is forcing you to come up with a plan of action to coincide with GCQ. Di ba? May mga ganun parang they put so much pressure on themselves na kailangan klaro yung plano ko para sa aking empleyado, sa aking pamilya, sa aking negosyo. Who said that? kahit na nga yung pinakamalaking negosyo, hindi nga alam gagawin nila eh, di ba? I mean, I cannot tell you whom I've been speaking to, but come on, I can tell you guys who are way up there who have no idea what to do, right? And so prepare for worst case scenarios. Relax ka lang, and if necessary, just ask for time. Just I was talking to one family member, not my anyway, I was talking to one person. Hiyang-hiya siya magtanong kung pwedeng i-postpone man lang sandali yung renta niya. Di ba? May mga ganon, di ba? You know what? Nagsisimula pa lang siya magtanong, I was just wondering when it comes to rent. You know what the landlord said? Forget the next 3 months, okay? Do what you have to do. Let's just waive the entire 3 months and let's just start again. Without even asking, huh?
Wow.
Right? The community spirit is on an abnormal level right now. You have to be thankful gumagalaw ang Panginoon. So prepare, and then finally, like what you're doing, Boris, this is the best time to practice your purpose. This is it. This is what we've been prepared for. Don't think of the new normal when you can pursue your mission and your vision. No, this is the time that you were prepared for. Diba, Esther? You have been raised for such a time as this. This is the time for you to say, we are living out our mission of making a difference, of providing excellent products, of valuing the community, right? Of making change happen. So your 4 P's: practice your purpose, prepare, and then provide if you can in whatever way, and protect your family. Doon kami nakatutok for the last for the last 8 weeks, 9 weeks.
Yeah.
And again, hindi pa tapos ang aming business plan. Hindi pa tapos ang business plan.
Nagsisimula pa lang. Yeah. Nagba-bounce back pa lang. And this is a shining moment for anyone who's been called to do God's purposes, right? Ang laking arena right now to actually shine for God, shine for Jesus, and be compassionate, to be caring, to have that community spirit. Anthony, I'm enjoying my conversation with you, pero sinabihan na ako, pansinin daw natin yung mga nagko-comments.
Yes, of course.
Lexus back now. Lexus, ano yung nangyayari dyan?
All right, so we have some questions here from Ian Biligan. How can we convince people who are resisting this new normal? We want them to be on board, but it seems they don't want to.
Well, people will learn from instruction or experience, di ba? So pag ginawa mo na ang kaya mong gawin, pabaya mo na lang sa Panginoon ang pagbabago niya. I mean, come on. And by the way, you could look at it as a leadership challenge. Leadership is influence. When people keep on telling me, paano ayaw sumunod? Pasaway sila, pasaway. Matigas ang ulo. Kaya nga nilagay ng Diyos dyan eh. Di ba? Kung hindi pasaway yan, kung hindi matigas ang ulo niya, hindi ka kailangan. So that's precisely why you're there. And if you've done everything, then you entrust him or her to the Lord. I don't know what you have to say about that, Boris.
I agree. I think people are at different levels of readiness for change. Of course, may mga tao na on board na kagad sila. Gung-ho, game na game. Your leadership challenge, kagaya na sabi ni Anthony, are the ones who are still struggling to join you there. And that's where your influence will be tested. So ibang strategy and altogether, I think you have to not just be persuasive, but try to acknowledge where they're coming from. If it's an anxiety or anxiousness, maybe we need to address those anxieties, and maybe it lacks information or knowledge lang. Maybe they feel that they don't have enough resources, but when people feel they don't have enough resources, sometimes they're just not being resourceful. So you just probably have to show them that yung resources, so they just need to see it with their own eyes and be enlightened by it. If they're lonely, then you just have to be there, presence and support. Marami, medyo malawak, pero that's really where leadership comes in, di ba? Different strategic or influencing stages or strategies.
I want to add something to that. Nasa pagkatanong, ha? Iyan, nasa pagkatanong ha. Kasi ang iba, ganito ang tanong niya. Paano naman natin i-convince yung mga pasaway dyan ayaw makinig sa pagbabago? Okay? Or, paano ba kung i-convince yung mga ayaw magbago tsaka mag-resist? See, the first one is you already given up. The second one is open. And if you're open, talk to Boris. That's what coaching is all about. That's why he's there.
Good point. Yeah. Thank you. I'll wait for your call, Ian. Eh?
All right. Next question would be what can you say about the future of businesses, especially real estate industry, in the remaining months of the year? Sabi ni Sir Reagan Ramos.
All right.
Well, that's please, you want to answer that? I think of what I'm going to say.
I was about to say also the same thing. That's a very tough question. I guess every industry is quite unique by itself. I'm not going to say this as if it's carved on stone. It's not absolute. I'm not sure that it is even realistic. But I think you are in a better position than other industries. I would say that. Kasi I've spoken to a group of people, particularly in the insurance and the healthcare. Sila medyo okay, and then they're probably really just selling things. In real estate, there are a lot of obstacles, but when we went through some frameworks in strategic thinking and strategic directions, they were still able to come up with innovative ways to move forward. It's not as if they're the last industry to survive. That's my opinion. But there are challenges, and I believe that if you come together, if you think about ways to actually not just recover, but even really thrive and maximize your existing customer base, your existing assets and properties, and how can you use them, you'll be surprised on some ingenious ideas you'll come up with. And I'm only saying this because I came from a strategic planning where real estate leaders just went through it. And it was tedious, it was exhausting, it was emotional, but they did came out from it with a glimmer of hope. And compared to other industries, it's a lot better. I guess that's my 2 cents worth.
Okay, I'm also not part of the real estate industry, although I do speak a lot to the industry in terms of conferences and again, yung mga strategic planning. ABF times 3 yung framework na yon. ABF 1 is accept the brutal facts. It's really not positioned to win in 2020. In fact, I think the numbers are 10 to 15% drop in actual prices and 5 to 10% drop in leasing, prices. So, tanggapin na natin yon. But anticipate a brighter future, right? Which means be thankful you're still part of an industry over the past 100 years is among the top 3 when it comes to earning capacity. It's in revenue in terms of it. Kasama dyan ang stock market, kasama dyan ang real estate. So over a period of time, in spite of the crisis, when you look at the gains, panalo pa rin ang real estate. So magpasalamat pa rin tayo that you're part of an industry that has thrived, over the last 100 years. But act with bold faith. Well, maybe ito offhand lang, maybe you can go into the softer side of real estate. If you can't actually sell all those units, perhaps you can renegotiate on behalf of your clients and make that your service pagdating sa loan payments. Or as sabi ni Boris, maybe there are new ways of configuring what those properties serve for. Kasi ngayon ang hinahanap ng tao, safety and security, hindi convenience and design and beauty, right? See, the needs are changing. So if you can reposition the real estate that you are offering so that it actually means there will be more safe and secure at this particular challenging time, then immediately you meet that criteria that people are looking for. Iba na kagad yung offering mo. So the softer side, maybe you can be the one, ikaw ang haharap para kausapin yung mga hindi makabayad, di ba? And then you charge a certain service for that particular offering. There is always a need in every industry, and the goal is to find that need and fill it.
All
Okay.
right.
May
Thank
question.
you. I think last question na yata tayo. Otherwise, go over time na tayo.
Let's
Thanks
go
for
to
that.
this last question. From Miss Olivia, how can you be a mentor to others that you yourself feels you need mentoring?
There's no other way. It is impossible to mentor if you're not mentored. I mean, I may be a parent, but I've got a godly father. I mean, I have a father up above who's also parenting me. It there is this misconception too that mentors are only above. Sabi nga ni Boris kanina. My gosh, ang dami kong mentor na sa bahay na lang na ito eh. Mas bata sa akin, you know. Depende kung saan sila sa anong area kami ni mentor ng mga taong ito. So you have to seek mentors above, across and below you. And please, you cannot keep on filling somebody else's cup unless your cup is being filled first. And that's all I can say. But there's no other way. You cannot mentor without being mentored. Boris, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Exactly the same way. You know what Ken Blanchard said, diba? You cannot give what you do not have. So fill up that cup so you can fill up others.
Yeah. So may tanong si JC. Ano raw
Yeah.
ang advice mo sa mga speakers? Ikaw na sumagot yan. Ikaw ang marketer and promoter of speakers and trainers eh.
Hindi ba ito pwede offline na lang? Talaga in-online. You know, we're all in that situation right now, bro, JC. Ang ganda ng huling webinar mo. I think dinagsaka yata ng hindi ko alam kung libo-libo. Pero I'm sure that was successful and you're doing a great job. Parang, I really think you should do it that way. Anthony and I were just saying that this is really a time to balance it as well. Parang, what do you give? And of course, people would know what you need. I think your clients can be sensitive rin naman that you need certain things. And hopefully, pag nag-meet yun, it would just allow you to survive. And again, I think content is king. And as long as you have something to share, diba? I mean, we're not just, not many of us are as fortunate, as good looking as Anthony. And whose delivery is really stage presence pa lang. Pero more than that, I think you have good content, bro. So just keep up learning, filling yourself up, and then you can give more to others. Medyo konektado sa questions natin kanina. So I think that's where you can be, doon ka hindi ka mapapalitan. I think yung and that's where I also admire Anthony. Mali point ko. This is where I admire Anthony as well. You know, this man, in demand na siya, but he kept on learning. He pursued his MBA. He's been pursuing accreditation. I'm seeing him offering different programs. But by his name, it's himself. Yung Anthony Pangilinan, sought after na yun eh. But he never stops filling his cup. And that's why he's still relevant to this point, to this day. And I'm learning from him. That's why I kept pursuing studies pa rin here and there. And nobody is too old or too mature to not really yearn for more learnings. I think it's Henry Ford who said that no matter whether you're 80 or 20 years old, once you stop learning, that's the time you stop growing. And it sounds cliche, but it's true. And that's where you can actually outlast others.
Thank you for that, Boris. JC, I'll just support what he said. Na sino ka ba talaga? Yung core best self. We call it that again. I think this is a great time to reflect on that. Because if you go back to your core, or perhaps rediscover or uncover your real core. Because a lot of us speakers, trainers, come on, marami akong kilala. Ano ba? Nagtuturo, hindi naman talaga sila yun. Kasi na-download nila yung magandang framework and then suddenly the next day tinuturo na nila. Di ba? Kasi yun ang gawin ng marami. No. Forget that. You're gonna have to provide content from your core best self. And can I just say also that not everybody was designed to speak. When we started in the business speaking, siguro nandun ka rin, alam mo ako, 30 years ago, lahat ako gumagawa. And can I just say the opportunities today? Akong gumagawa ng PowerPoint ko, o akong gumagawa ng slides ko, overhead pa nga nun. Akong gumagawa ng outline. Ako nag-aayos ng lugar, di ba? Everything. Tapos ako nag-i-email ng sarili ko mga offerings, etc. Right? We had to do everything. But today, my God, the subspecializations are all around. Meron dyan, na-discover nila na hindi pala sila pang speaking, pang design lang sila ng programa. You know, they're great program designers. Yung iba dyan, magaling lang sa graphics talaga. Amazing graphics. Others are creating the platform so that consultants and speakers can sell their services on a platform na nandiyan na rin yung inventory management, customer, pati merchandise that they're selling. Shopify, for example, is doing that for the service industry. Akala ko pangkain lang. Hindi. They're actually creating platforms for consultants and speakers to start selling their services. Right? Yung iba dyan, marketplace. So, medyo may pagka-Boris yan. So, kung meron kang what's this, RJ Ledesma na Mercato, which is a consolidator, aggregator of all food services. Boris is one who brings the best trainers together. And if you see, all of those are different subspecializations. Maybe, upon reflection, you don't have to be what you used to be. And you could provide one of these more specific services. You know, it requires self-awareness though, but it's not easy. Self-awareness is a contact sport. Okay? It's painful. It can be painful. But the goal of sport is to win. It's still a sport. The goal is, but it can be painful. And I'm wishing you the best, JC. Congratulations for your session that you offered last week.
I love it. Thank you. Meron pa ba next host?
Yeah, so I think we don't have any questions anymore. Any last message na lang sa ating mga audience? They feel refreshed. Marami daw sila natutunan. And they're also looking forward for another session with you too, guys.
Why not? Ano, game, Anthony.
Well,
Isa
I
pa.
was speaking to Lloyd Reeb. Lloyd Reeb is a multimillionaire in the real estate industry. He's the international spokesperson for Halftime, the program created by Bob Buford. And in one of our times together, he shared with me the 5 things that he saw. The 5 things that he saw in the most successful half-timers in different industries, which means when they reinvented themselves, he checked what did they prioritize next. The second half, ito na yung mga after 35, 40 years old. He found 5 things. Okay? And I came up with an acronym just for me to remember. SIGHT. SIGHT. Number 1, amazingly, people who are excelling in the second half of their lives are prioritizing the significant people in their lives, not their own, especially their spouses. Yung goal nila is to elevate their spouses. Wow. I did not neglect individual. The individual is so purpose is being to life age, health, and so they have that in mind. That is what is in state. And God's grace, we can say with TD Jakes that there is no precedence for what God is going to do in this time of your life. There is no precedence yet. You have yet to see what he's going to do for you if you break out and break through.
Galing. Anthony, thank you so much. Just quoting what Felici just said in the comment thread, sabi niya, you guys will be refreshed. I believe you will be refreshed because you offered refreshment. You refresh others in this hour. So we are expecting that, Felici. We believe that God will be moving in so many ways. I would love to do this again with you, Anthony. It's really amazing. Katayata is ready to sing na at this point. Sabi niya, pa-shout out daw naman. Siya daw ang pinakamaingay sa mga nanonood ngayon. Thank you, Kata, for tolerating these 2 tormentors of yours. Yeah, and guys, I know we're all going through transition. I like what Anthony said in another webinar. I think he was quoting Rick Warren. We're all in the same storm, but we're all in different boats. And our troubles may not be the same as one another. That this is a big transition, but in every transition we are going through individual troubles. And we cannot even begin to empathize the kinds of troubles you guys are going through. Some of you are active and alive, enthusiastic, commenting. Some of you are just quietly listening to us and wondering if there's a glimmer of inspiration, hope, or encouragement. Some of you may be closing in your business right now, scaling it down because of what's happening. some of you may have loved ones who have actually been affected. So I don't want to minimize the troubles that you guys are going through, but I just want to encourage you. When Jesus was on planet Earth, when he was talking to his disciples, I think it's John chapter 14 or 16, he was telling his disciples, do not let your hearts be troubled. And it takes a lot of effort to do that. During transition period, you will be troubled, but you actually have a choice. I guess what Anthony and I are saying for the last hour, that we're troubled ourselves. Maraming problema, honestly, nangingiti lang kami dahil sa that, because of the peace that transcends all understanding and the peace that comes from Christ. So have that choice. Please consider really having Christ in your life and understand the kind of peace and calmness that comes from Christ. Don't allow yourself to be troubled during these troubling times. Thank you guys for watching. Anthony, saludo.
Oh, you're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
God bless you. Thank you for this opportunity, bro.
All right, thank you guys for watching, and we're looking forward for you again sa next episode or next session natin next week. So please do share, comment, like, watch it on a replay, and we know, alam namin, marami kayong matututunan ulit, no, pag pinanood nyo po ito ng live. So again, see you again next week, and bye-bye.
Bye. God bless. Take care.
Lexus, thank you. Guys behind the scene, thank you.
Sorry, hindi tayo